What's up, my guy? Nigerian Lucas here, Big O Belt Media. It is finally a pleasure to talk to you. We've been lobbying to try to get a conversation, interview, or something with you for a while because on some real, the Streets Need the Body is a hit, and I be cranking that all the time. So I'm like, listen, I gotta talk to my man about this. Like, listen, I can pull up my iTunes right now. Like, I'm listening to it daily. That's just what it is. That brings me to my first question: the remix. Who you want on it? If you can have any artist on it, who would it be?
Wow. I mean, is it kind of cliched if I say Boss Man, if I say 50 to be on the remix? Is that kind
not
of
at all?
I would want that. I'm not gonna. If I could ever get a verse from 50, I think I'd cry on the spot. I'm not gonna. I've been listening to his music since I was like 5 years old, bro. Like that is an idol for me.
For sure. Now that he had his hit, now that he had his success, we see him a little bit just kind of riding out on that. But you know how artists is, you gotta continuously work, don't get distracted, but clearly he gets distracted, unmotivated. What may be that factor to get him back on track? Or does he? What gets him back in the studio?
Well, everybody hits a rough patch, right? Everybody hits a point in their life where it gets difficult to continue doing the things that are supposed to happen,
Yeah.
So I feel like one of the things that we all can relate to is that finding motivation again and finding what's important and finding, what drives you to be you, and I think that's something that's shown really well in this. I cannot wait for the 14th for you guys to see it. But I feel like just being able to be creative in how I deal with, issues of life. I think that's something that's going to relate to fans really well in this, and I feel like it's gonna show some stuff,
No doubt.
Now, what are we expecting to get from the second season of the brother-sister relationship with Famous? Because that's highly important. In the first season, as we saw his sister do everything humanly possible to get him a record deal, but it's from an area of love that she's doing this for her brother. What are we expecting to see in this second season?
Well, I mean, obviously the dynamic duo is going to be dynamic, We're gonna have something planned without giving too much up to, to the fans and stuff. I want everybody to be able to be entertained and enjoy the show. But I want to say that this season, it does show her, her initiative, a lot of her initiative, and a lot of my dependence on that initiative. But I do think that we do get dynamic a couple of times this season. So I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Man, there's some things. We checked out the first 4 episodes. There's some things I definitely want to talk about, but I will not. But I do want to know. Nah, we don't want to be in trouble either. So, but I do want to know what means most to Famous.
It's interesting. I think above all, found family is something that means the most to Famous because there's been times where his family's not as dependent as maybe Kanan is, or maybe the family themselves are. So the growth of the relationships between Famous and the other family members aside from Kanan, I feel like it's something I really do want to be seen as well. So once you guys see how we're all interacting now, I think it'll be able to explain more so why the found family is such an important thing, because I feel like the people we meet along the way in life sometimes make their way to a certain level of importance that we never thought it was going to get to,
Yeah. Now, we got to wonder. We've seen Famous go at Juke ridiculously constantly over the last year and a half. And taking it back to the 90s with a phrase that I don't know if you know, but I remember because I was in the 90s. Are we going to get Famous with a honey dip this season? Or he's going to keep on going slap at jukebox?
I love these questions. So, without giving too much up, I mean, like we mentioned earlier, I am riding off of the success of Streets Need a Body just a tad, right? So we are going to get to see a couple, shorties pop up here and there. But I actually am very interested to see how the fans react to Famous's and Jukebox's relationship, because that also grows in this show. But, we're never going to expect to see what happens. So I can't wait for everything to come out. I'm so excited. I actually have so many friends that have hit me up recently, told me that they downloaded like the Stars app to see it early and everything.
There you go.
I just can't wait to see how everybody reacts to everything that we've done so far.
All right, all right. Well, look, we're on our time. I'm just going to say that, like, The Streets Needed Body has source material. There is more source material for him in season 2. And I'm just saying, at some point, I hope we get back in the lab because we need another hit, my brother. But until then, hopefully we get to talk on the other side of things. Once everything get out, we could talk a little bit about spoilers. But it's absolutely been a pleasure to talk to you. This has been one of our goals in covering power, and much love and success to you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Take care.
You guys have a great day.
I keep